Well, first of all, let me thank the Communist Party of Great Britain, Marxist-Leninists, for inviting us, the Communist Party of Pakistan, Communist Workers and Peasants Party of Pakistan. I think, and also I'd like to congratulate you for starting this campaign, Hands Off China, at a very timely moment in history. When there is silence all around, even a single voice can be heard in all corners of the world. And in this deadening imperialist silence, the fact that you've raised your voice in favor of China and against imperialism, in favor of their national sovereignty, independence, and for their dignity, I think that voice can be heard, will be heard in all four corners of the world. We ourselves in Pakistan have had our hands rather full recently, given the rise in the democratic movement against military dictatorship. And so, to be perfectly honest with you, we haven't been able to dedicate too many resources to helping out China in this regard. But while we were here in London, and there are several comrades from Pakistan who are here in London, and on the occasion of the torch ceremony that was taken around London, we assembled in Trafalgar Square along with maybe 1,000 Chinese students, where we began to chant slogans, and that assembly turned into a demonstration. And I can't tell you the warmth with which Chinese students greeted us, knowing that we were not from China, but that we were from Pakistan, and that we were standing with them just because of our solidarity and internationalism. And it was extremely touching for us, as I'm sure it was for them. So I can never forget that memory. I cannot, however, claim to have grown up at a time when Mao Zedong was firing the imagination of young people all over the world. I can, however, claim to have grown up at a time when, rather than socialism firing the imagination of young people, it was unfortunately capitalism that was deadening their imagination. And it was an incredibly reactionary period when the Soviet Union fell apart. And following that, in the 1990s, there was a campaign across the world that capitalism had won the day, and that China's economic success and economic growth was owed itself to capitalism and not to socialism. And this is something that those of you who have the bitter, unfortunate experience of attending university can probably attest to, that every single course you take on China, the theme is the same. I've taken a few myself, unfortunately, and had to reprogram and re-educate myself. But the sum total of their entire, of their entire China Studies program is China was backward, China was terrible, it had no rate of growth, it was really, economically a disaster when socialist policies were implemented, and when capitalism was allowed to come into China, and when the open market economy, when the markets were open to international capital, that is when China began to grow. And this was such a dogma in the bourgeois academy that even though I was a Marxist, to some extent, I didn't really challenge it till very recently. What I did then was that I went to the figures for GDP growth rates. I'm sorry, this is going to be a bit of an economics heavy.
No, the more boring, the more we like. The more boring, the more we like.
And after Harpal's fiery speech, I don't know if this is going to be as much fun, because I got lots of statistics over here that I want to share with you. But I think it is important if you bear with me for a bit. I've got here the statistics that the World Bank and the government of China and so on, all international agencies, accept as pretty much the legitimate statistics with respect to the rate of growth of China from 1952 to 2005. It's a bit dated, I accept, but here they are nonetheless. And I began to look at them, and I wanted to see what was the pattern of growth across China. And I found some interesting facts. Well, first of all, we all know, and this great leaflet here also highlights this, you must have a look at the back, that China, which used to be, at the beginning of the 20th century, in the 19th and 18th century, which was considered a dinosaur that has survived into the modern world, is now the fastest growing economy in the world. It has, in the recent past, grown. The economy has grown in the last 2.5 decades 40 times. It has grown 40 times. It's multiplied 40 times. It has built the largest dam in the world, and the Three Gorges Dam, which has the capacity to deliver the equivalent of 17 nuclear power plants. It has more than 8 million industrial enterprises in which 25 million workers are employed, and it has an industrial growth rate of 12% on average. That's not the overall growth rate, that's just the industrial growth rate. And the CIA Fact Book estimates that China is the 4th largest economy in the world. But if you look at it in terms of purchasing power parity, their own estimates indicate that it is the 2nd largest economy in the world today. So second only to the United States of America.